These are some of the best 10 out of 10 games from different genres. All these games will provide an immersive world with over-the-top graphics and gameplay. Keep in mind that I will not be including many popular games in this list, as I have already talked about them in several other videos. Also, I have added some bonus games in the end. So, without further ado, let's look at the first game on my list. Number 13. Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 on the PC and PS5 is an absolute masterpiece of gaming excellence. From the fluid combat mechanics to the intricate level design, the story is gripping and keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. The game's soundtrack perfectly complements the intense gameplay, immersing you even further into the demon-infested world. Devil May Cry 5 on the PS5 is a must-have for any fan of action games, and it sets a new standard for what the next generation of gaming can achieve. This game deserves every bit of its 5-star rating and more. Easily the most polished Devil May Cry yet. There's a lot of moves to learn, lots of muscle memory. This is definitely the doom of third-person action games. DMC5 is the pinnacle of hack and slash. Over-the-top action, extremely flashy and stylish. To put it simply, this game is a good time. Number 12. Mass Effect Series. Definitely a must-have for any sci-fi action-adventure gaming fan, as you get a trilogy of iconic games with great story, and now with more addition to it. If you already have the trilogy for the PS3 or Xbox 360, you should still get it. Some major reasons: first is the loading times, as now you don't have to wait for long or as much when the game loads up. The second is the additional DLC and added spots here, and they're mostly extra NPCs around the area, better lighting, and less wonky graphics that you would see from time to time. The graphical upgrades have been greatly improved.
Looks like they hit the camp hard.
It's a good place for an ambush. Keep your guard up.
Anyways, if we talk about the actual game now, which is a masterpiece, the overall story plot follows the trilogy nicely to the end, and while some found the finale of the trilogy to be mixed, overall I feel it fit the narrative of the game nicely. So for 3 games, and the entertainment you get, I definitely say this collection is worth adding to any gamer's library. At the end, if you're looking for a sci-fi shooter with amazing combat, a memorable story and characters, this game is the one. As a big OG Mass Effect fan, I was so excited for the remaster of the whole trilogy in one disc. The story of Mass Effect is a game that I hold close to home, as it is still one of my favorite trilogies today.
Tried to get off a distress call, but they cut off our communications. I've been fighting for my life ever since.
Number 11. Remnant Series. Now, it's hard for me to include which Remnant game is the best. I mean, it's definitely the sequel, as it's more graphically and texturally improved, but we can never forget what started it all. So, just for this time, I'm including both Remnant games. Remnant is an all-out amazing series. The first part was quite enjoyable, and the availability of different weapons made the gameplay addictive. Both installments have excellent quality altogether. Remnant from the Ashes level design is a significant feature, with procedurally generated aspects that ensure each playthrough is distinct. The game's enemies are pretty hard. From fast-moving melee foes to powerful ranged attacks and towering bosses, players must devise various ways to survive the never-ending assault of enemies. Aside from the many weaponries, I think the finest thing about the game is how well-crafted the locations are, with a variety of landscapes ranging from grim urban ruins to lush forests in different dimensions. Remnant is a series that I believe every fantasy action shooting fan should play. Tell me in the comments, which one did you guys like better? Number 10. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Really? This is the first I've heard of it.
Because it was classified by princess.
I don't think that counts.
Now, I know a lot of you will disagree that this is not a 10 out of 10 game, but hear me out first. We can all agree that we have been waiting for the remake for a long time. To be truthful, the wait was worth it after seeing what the developers did in the gameplay, story, characters, and music. Obviously, we all have our own favorite Final Fantasy games. However, the remake is something that shows how astounding the 7th part is.
Let's go. Here it comes. Try this.
Cloud and Tifa are my favorite characters in the Final Fantasy series, along with Noctis. As for the new players who are stepping into the series, the 7th remake is the finest choice. You will understand why this game is held in such high regard. There are so many awesome looking moments that captivate you and make you a fan of Final Fantasy series. Also, the newest rebirth is not that good in my opinion compared to the OG remake. It all depends on your perspective. Despite all this, Final Fantasy VII Remake is the prime choice and definitely a 10 out of 10 game. The remake enhanced all the visuals, details, and graphics. So, new-gen fans will also be able to experience the classic series in the modern consoles.
Whatever. Good old what's his face. Nothing new. I hate doing cleanup, but I'm damn good at it.
Number 9. Shadow of Colossus. I understand that many of you have never played this game. I simply wish that the makers could come up with a PC port, as it has been many years since the game was first released. Shadow of Colossus is exclusively available for PlayStation 4. However, it's one of the most unique games I've ever played. The most important aspect of the game is its story. Overall, the story is touching and full of emotions. Now, despite being a highly underrated game, Colossus is a game capable of making the coldest hearts cry and definitely packs a punch. Low-key, it's not one of those games that you will find your friends talking about it, but it's rather one of those that you will stumble upon in random YouTube video and in Reddit threads. There's one important thing that I'd like to mention about the open world. As appealing as the idea of just traveling and killing monsters sounds, trust me, this is not the case. The open world of Shadow of Colossus is not like your usual games such as Skyrim or Witcher. It's more of a deserted and dead-looking world. You won't see many towns or NPCs. However, despite all this, the game still got you covered with its other features, including the music as well. You will feel the urge to keep playing as finding new Colossus is just really immersive. Number 8. Far Cry 3. I have mentioned this game several times in bonus games in my previous videos. This is the first time I'm talking about in a broader way. Far Cry 3 is the ultimate game from the franchise. I know that maybe some of you who are into next-gen graphics might prefer the recent games, but it's no doubt that the second and third installments are the only two greatest games from the series. There was just something about Far Cry 3 that made me a huge fan. Seeing Jason changing throughout the playthrough and seeing how the story unfolds with all the twists made us felt like that we were in sync with the game. Also, the third part provided us one of the greatest villains. I'm sure you all remember how impactful Boz was. Now, in addition to a decent open world, there are DLCs, various creatures, driving, coolest main character, an intense storyline, and other fun things to do. Regardless of what anyone says, Far Cry 3 is a must-play game for any true lover of the franchise. Number 7. Plague Tale series.
Mummy won't be happy when she finds out I fell in the water.
Keep in mind that I'm including both games in this list. You're free to choose the original and the sequel. For me, both games are perfect, and the fact that a AA studio made these games in a small budget is fascinating. Plague Tale is a game for those who enjoy storytelling and fascinating environments. The bond between the two main characters is the subject matter, as is the game's realistic killing. The non-turn-based combat, in which you must alternate between the sister and brother to accomplish puzzles and unlock areas, also deserves a special mention.
Oh my god.
Are they all dead?
We can't carry on.
Amicia, we have to follow the aqueduct.
The gameplay and combat appear to be extremely realistic. Unlike other games, you cannot simply go straight ahead and pound the enemy's head. In Plague Tale, you must rely on stealth, slingshots, and even stones. It's not for everyone, but it's something you will highly appreciate after playing it. There isn't much intense action, but the game is rather slow-paced and focuses on stealth. If you can adapt and accept the game's rhythm, then Plague Tale will be a prime choice for you.
Amicia!
Come on. Run, Hugo!
What's happening, Amicia?
Just run!
But why are they angry? Are they going to burn us too?
Number 6. Yakuza Kiwami 2. Now, I wanted to put Yakuza 0 here, but I have mentioned it in several other videos already. So, this time we will talk about one of my other favorite games from the Yakuza series. Although, it's a controversial subject about which game is better. Is it the first part or the sequel? For me, the sequel is much better as it showcases a decent ending and a perfect final boss. Also, the original Kiwami was my introduction to the series, so the sequel just felt highly appealing as it was the time that I got to play Kazuma Kiryu once again, who in fact is one of the best protagonists in gaming. To be honest, I always find hard to choose the all-time best Yakuza game as all the games have similar content. However, this is also what makes the series a fan favorite. It's one of those games where you can easily get lost in doing side quests and mini-games. The main story is highly engaging, but often players spend their time doing various things as the open world allows a lot of interaction and so many other awesome aspects. You can choose any game from the series, and I'm confident that it'll eat up a lot of your time. Number 5. It Takes Two.
Again.
Hey, Rose needs both of us, okay?
That's not fair. Using her.
I'm not using her. I'm just stating a fact.
It's hard to claim a game is the best I've ever played, although I want to, but it's blatantly the most unique, heartwarming, genius one I've ever played. The attention to detail is unrivaled. I was so impressed time and time again with the creative and smart game mechanics that changed in every chapter. It's also a really long game for such unique content, and we were so happy it just kept going, never bored, and always looking forward to picking up the controller again. Lastly, I love possible replayability. Both players have a unique skill in each chapter, and when you've beaten the game, you can easily swap characters and have a different gameplay experience.
All right. The current has reversed.
One of the most incredible games I've ever played. The creativity in each level and the tools you receive for each task you find before you is mind-blowing. The variety in the mini-games, the graphics and mechanics are all perfect. Its message about love, maturity and compromise is also special. The story is designed to make you realize how valuable relationships and communication is. I would go as far as saying it's at least the greatest two-player split-screen game ever created, and it's not even close. Played through it twice, and it still has so much replay value. The journey and meaning in this game are purely breathtaking.
You two must learn collaboration.
That's not our strong point.
Aha! You know, collaboration is the key to a successful relationship. Huh?
Number 4. Dragon's Dogma. Now wait, of course, I know that the series has mixed reviews, but as someone who played and explored every corner, I can tell that this is one of the best 10 out of 10 games, and even better than Skyrim. I want to give a shout out to the original Dragon's Dogma, as the newest 2024 is almost a remake or remaster version. Don't get me wrong, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game that will only be appreciated by the OG fans who played the game at the time of release, and those who are stepping into the series for the first time. I honestly don't think that there's that much content in the sequel, it just feels like a complete makeover of the original. The enemies or mechanics are also the same. In the end, we can go all day pinpointing which part is better. However, I just want to say that it all depends on you. If it's your first time, then I recommend playing the newest sequel as it's more graphically and visually improved. Dragon's Dogma is a series filled with enormous monsters and all types of area designs. The game also holds a decent level of difficulty, but only in the DLC. Bitter Black Isle is still the most difficult area even after finishing the campaign. My honest opinion will be to at least finish the game before saying anything about Dragon's Dogma series. Number 3. Bloodborne. We can also go with Sekiro or Elden Ring, but I specifically chose Bloodborne as I have talked about other Souls games multiple times. Also, Bloodborne is a fan favorite and deserves to be called as a masterpiece. Unlike other games, even after getting better and leveling up, you will still have trouble defeating certain enemies in this game. Almost every Souls game have their own difficulty features, and Bloodborne comes on top. Briefly, Dark Souls has more bizarre area designs. Sekiro becomes easy once you learn the mechanics, and we all know Elden Ring is the easiest Souls game. Honorable mention also goes to Demon Souls and Mortal Shell. Now, within all these games, Bloodborne is the only one that comes on top in difficulty and dark environments, along with an awesome lore. Bloodborne stands out from other Souls-like games due to its brutal and gruesome themes. If you get easily stressed or scared, then this game is not for you. However, if you appreciate dark atmospheric horror, deep landscapes, exploration, and serious combat, then Bloodborne is a fantastic game to play. Number 2. BioShock Infinite. I never thought Infinite could surpass the first BioShock game, but it certainly did in so many ways. Infinite has a great and innovative narrative, full of plot twists along with morally based decisions and political dimensions. The gameplay is brilliant and fun too. The graphics and presentation of Columbia is just pure beautiful. I can still vividly recall looking and admiring the attention to detail given to the clouds and pieces of propaganda posters lying around the city, etc. As for the story, I do not want to give out any spoilers because this is something you must experience yourself and would hate to ruin it for anyone. This is a game that must be played by all future generations in order to appreciate the art of gaming. So, would you kindly play this awesome game? This game will invoke all kinds of different emotions, and there is something quite beautiful about this game. It really makes you think and feel. I do hope they make more BioShock games in the future, but then again, I doubt another BioShock game will ever create a flurry of emotions like Infinite did with me. This is because BioShock Infinite is just perfect, and perhaps a new game may not surpass it. I think I would rather retain the memories that I experienced with Infinite instead, so I am not overly fussed if a new game is made or not. To sum up, a 10 out of 10 game, and so much more. Before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Legend of Zelda, Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate 3,
The insertee we speak of, this parasite? Are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers?
Red Dead 2,
This area is off limits, okay?
You don't like visiting?
GTA 5,
Very sorry.
God of War,
This one's for
Number 1, Pal World. I don't know why I'm not seeing this game in top 10 videos. Despite the reviews and all the other stuff, the players are still sleeping on this game. I know that Pal World became a hype at the time of release, but it feels like nobody is talking about it now. And hey, hear me out first before you start any negative comments. Most of us love Pokemon and are huge fans of the anime regardless of which gen is the best. We can all agree that we always wanted an open world game with the freedom of catching the Pokemons. However, we have never gotten any so far besides the ones with full of dialogues and semi-open worlds. Now, Pal World is a game changer. You can just assume that the creatures are different and like Pokemons. The game literally has everything in it. I know that most of you who are playing the game are doing it in multiplayer, but I played the game solo. I just wanted the freedom to dive in and catch all the creatures. The developers did a remarkable job providing so many new things in a vast open world. Another important feature is the landscape. Pal World offers multiple areas such as volcanoes, mountains, desert, and forests. It gives the same feeling as some creatures will only be found in certain regions. There are also raids along with the option to create your own base with so many different features. Take my word and purchase the game. Alright, this finishes our list of 13 greatest games, 10 out of 10 games of all time. I know that I have missed some of your favorite games such as Uncharted 4, Ghost of Tsushima, Elden Ring, and more. However, I have talked about them in my previous videos. So, I want you guys to comment down some of the underrated perfect games, and I will make a new video about them. Anyways, all these games are available to play on PC and PS5. I'm sure you guys will have a crazy blast playing any of these games. Although, some of these games have different genres which could be turned off for some players. But still, there's something for everyone here regardless of your favorite genres. So, get your copy and start playing. Also, if you have made it this far, then please subscribe as I am close to reaching 8,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.